ebook versions of this book. All of this is necessary in a book aimed at a general audience, but may require a bit more work, not too much, I hope, on the part of the academic philosopher in piecing together the argument from the surrounding narrative. Enjoy. Chapter 1. What's the point of living? One day, all of the energy in the universe will be used up. The stars will all go out. All matter will be swallowed up by black holes that will eventually evaporate away. This will be the beginning of an infinitely long epoch in which all activity and interaction has ceased. There will never again be intelligent life anywhere forevermore. Christian philosopher William Lane Craig argues that this is the fate we are resigned to without God, and that it is a fate that renders our lives meaningless. The 11-year-old Alvy Singer in the movie Annie Hall refused to do his homework in the light of the eventual death of the universe. What's the point? Craig even goes so far as to say that killing and loving are morally equivalent if the universe is eventually going to come to nothing, and hence our lives have no ultimate significance. It's not only religious believers who worry about these apparent implications of atheism. Atheist philosopher David Benatar argues that while our lives may seem to have meaning and significance from the perspective of somebody engaged in the hustle and bustle of life, when we zoom out to a cosmic perspective, we can see that our lives have very little significance in the broader scheme of things. In his book The Human Predicament, Benatar offers an analogy of small children engaged in a heated debate, perhaps over whose turn it is to play with the ball. From the perspective of those children, who has the ball is of the utmost importance and significance. But if we zoom out to a slightly broader perspective, we can see that the focus of their quarrel has little significance. In the same way, the concerns of adults, our hopes and fears, our plans for life, are insignificant from the perspective of the universe as a whole, and certainly not worth the concern we invest in them. What then is the point of living? Benatar draws a grim conclusion from his views on our insignificance. It would have been better if we'd never existed. He does not advocate suicide. Now we're here, we might as well carry on. But he does argue that it is morally wrong to create new children who will grow up to live lives without significance. The morally correct thing to do, according to Benatar, is to let the human race pass peacefully out of existence. This is the position known as antinatalism, a view which has almost become a kind of religion in its own right, at least to the extent that its small but dedicated adherents find comfort and even purpose in its tenets. In February 2019, Raphael Samuel, a 27-year-old Indian, announced to the world that he was suing his parents for bringing him into existence. Samuel had had a happy childhood and was close to his parents, but nonetheless resented being brought into existence without his consent. He told the BBC, "It was not our decision to be born. Human existence is totally pointless." It is perhaps not so surprising that people should be asking whether it's right to have children in a world threatened by imminent climate breakdown. In my own case, I remember experiencing some guilt after my first child was born. We lived in Budapest at the time, and I have a vivid memory of carrying my baby from the car down the snowy street. She was born just before Christmas, to our apartment. As I passed the shop on the corner, the owner, who happened to be standing outside, smiled and said, "Gratulalung." At that moment, I was surprised to suddenly feel a kind of self-consciousness, almost embarrassment. I had been walking on cloud 9 since the birth of my child 24 hours ago. But was this joy just for my sake and for that of my partner? This child